As a new YouTube content creator, there are some things that you need to know about YouTube, about your audience, about your videos. So when you're publishing videos, you can just deeply understand exactly what is going on. And the reason this is important is because if you understand how people are responding to your content, it can help you make better content, which in turn will help you get more views, will help you get more subscribers, and all the things that you want from your YouTube content. So I'm going to explain to you a list of words that you need to know as a YouTube content creator. I'm going to tell you the word, I'm going to tell you why it's important and what it means and how it relates to you as a content creator. Now, as I'm doing this, he is going to be playing the handpan, and I gotta be honest, he's not that good at it, but he just wanted to get some practice and just give you some nice music to listen to in the background, so it'll probably be pretty messy, but we're gonna roll with it anyway, and I'm going to share these words with you to help you do better on YouTube and just better understand the platform. So the very first word on our list is YouTube Analytics. What your YouTube Analytics are is they are the statistics behind your YouTube channel. Your YouTube Analytics are a reflection of how people respond to your content on YouTube. So it's really important that you understand not only your analytics, but the words that are behind your analytics. And I'm just going to focus you on a handful because these are some of the core, most important ones, starting with impressions. What an impression is an impression is when YouTube shows your content to somebody on any page on YouTube, in the mobile app, on TVs, things like that. So when it comes to your impressions, a lot of content creators, especially ones that are just getting started, will say to themselves, hey, YouTube isn't showing my content to people. Well, one way that you can check to see if YouTube is showing your content to people is you can go into your YouTube Analytics and you can look at your impressions. When it comes to your impressions, you're going to see that YouTube is giving you impressions. Now, from that, it shows you that YouTube is showing your content to people on the platform. So if you're not getting views, that means that you're not able to convert people into a view when YouTube shows your thumbnail and title to somebody on the platform. So the next word that we have related directly to this is called click-through rate. Now, when it comes to your click-through rate, this is often referred to as CTR, but your click-through rate is how well you can convert a potential viewer compared to the impressions that YouTube is giving you or how much YouTube is showing your content to people on the platform. As part of this, one thing that's really important to know is as it relates to your click-through rate, typically on YouTube, it's much more difficult to maintain a high click-through rate when you have a high amount of impressions. So because of that, it's really easy for content creators to think that they have a really good click-through rate when they only have, let's say, 50 impressions or 100 impressions on a video. But when it comes to your click-through rate, it's really important because the higher your click-through rate, that means the better you are at getting people to click on your video when YouTube gives it an impression or shows it to people on the platform. Your click-through rate is one of the most important metrics on YouTube. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are paying really close attention to your click-through rate in your videos. But when it comes to your click-through rate, you don't want to just look at your click-through rate in general. You actually want to dig into our next word, which is traffic sources. Your traffic sources are where YouTube is telling you exactly where your viewers are coming from on the platform or off of the platform. And the reason that your traffic sources are important is because based on where it is that you're trying to get views from, or if you're trying to get views from everywhere, it's really important to make sure that you're understanding your traffic sources so you can see where you're falling short or where you're underperforming. For example, in some cases, you might find that you're doing great in suggested videos, but you're not doing great on home pages. Or you might find out that you're doing great in YouTube search, but you're not doing great on home pages. So what that means when you identify this information is that means that when people are looking for your content, it's relatively easy for you to get people to click and enjoy your content in YouTube search. However, the fail point, if you find that you're way underperforming in your click-through rate from home pages, the fail point there means that you're just not good yet at capturing somebody's attention when they're not looking for your content or when they're logging onto YouTube, they're expecting to watch something else, and your content gets presented to them on the YouTube homepage. If you can't get people to click there, then you can identify that through your traffic sources by looking at your click-through rate and your impressions on the homepage. And as you're looking at that information, you can start to look for those fail points to see where you need to improve. If you notice that on home pages you're not doing well, then typically that comes down to your content just not being identifiable to the people that you're trying to reach. Same exact thing goes if you're looking at suggested traffic and you notice that with suggested videos that you're not doing well there. Typically that means that your thumbnail, maybe everything's too small in your thumbnail. People can't really identify your video or what it might be about or why it might be important to them, or maybe your title's getting cut off and they can't fully understand exactly what your video is about. But when you notice these things, then you can go in and you can try to figure out what the problem is so that you know how to fix it. And then you'll get more views, you'll do better, and all the stuff that you want as a YouTuber. When it comes to browse features, because this is a traffic source, what your browse features are is that's your homepage, that is your subscription feed. That's also the Explore tab on YouTube as well. And then suggested videos, which is our next word, is videos that are being recommended next to other videos on YouTube. YouTube search is when people go up to the YouTube search bar and they type in a specific word or phrase, and then your content shows up there. And then for traffic sources, you also have external. Now, when it comes to external, that means that you are bringing people onto YouTube. So in some cases that might be from Google. You might find external as a website that's linking to one of your videos. And you can use this when you're paying attention and you're looking in your analytics and you're seeing all this stuff. If you notice a website is sending you a lot of viewers, that's a great opportunity for you to reach out to that website and say, hey, I noticed that you're sending me a lot of traffic to this particular video. Is there anything that I can do for you? Or when I publish new content, would you like me to let you know about it and things like that? Because they are clearly seeing value in what it is that you're doing enough that they are going to post it on their website. So when you are looking in your traffic sources and you're seeing this type of information in terms of what your click-through rate looks like, your average view duration, where your views are coming from, that really helps you identify where you're doing well, where you're not, so that you can make whatever improvements you need in order to do well. The next word you should know about is watch time. You're gonna hear people talking about watch time all over the place on YouTube. If you watch my videos, if you watch videos like mine, you hear other content creators talking about YouTube. Watch time is gonna be another major one that people focus on a lot. So when it comes to watch time, that is the total amount of time people spend watching your video. That's what watch time is, and it's extremely important to YouTube. In fact, back in October of 2012, YouTube changed the importance of watch time to where they started focusing all satisfaction information on how long people watch videos for. So because of that, watch time is extremely important, and that is a word that you need to know. But within watch time, we also have something called session time. Now, session time is how long people spend on the platform itself. So the way that you want to look at session time is, let's say that in your traffic sources, you find that you're bringing in external traffic. Well, if you're bringing in external traffic, you're actually starting sessions on YouTube. And when you're starting sessions on YouTube, that's a fantastic sign to YouTube that you're, bringing people to YouTube, which is something that they want. So because of that, your job as a content creator is to ensure that you keep people watching and that you get more watch time for those viewers. But the idea is you want to keep people on YouTube and you want to prevent them from ending their session. So the way that you do this is, of course, chaining your videos together or creating what I call watch time traps, so you keep people watching more than one video at a time, or that you just send them off to other videos, or you don't do anything to cause that viewer to leave YouTube. Next is your audience retention. When it comes to your audience retention, that is how long people are watching your videos for, but it's an actual graph that YouTube gives you. So when it comes to your videos, when you publish a video on YouTube, and this can be a YouTube short, a live stream, an actual piece of normal video content, when you publish all these things to YouTube, then they show you a report. It's a second-by-second report that is a reflection of how people are responding to your videos on average. So when you use your audience retention reports, what you can do is you can go in and you can look for problems in your video. And you can look for places in your video where people drop off. You can look for places in your video where you get spikes. You can look for places in your video where people aren't leaving, they're just sitting there, just super interested in the content. And you can use this to make better videos for people that are responding to them. Now, when it comes to your audience retention, you have absolute retention, which is how people are responding to that particular video, your video, second by second on average. And then you also have something called relative audience retention. Relative audience retention is how your videos compare to other videos of similar length on the platform. So you want to use this so that you can look and see how your videos are performing. So if you look and you see that your videos are underperforming, they're below average, then that means you got to work on those parts of the videos so that you can make better videos and bring your content to a level that's more competitive for YouTube, because this is a competition. In fact, it's a competition for click-through rate, and it's a competition for watch time and session time. Next is average view duration. Now, when it comes to average view duration, this is also known as AVD. That's typically how we refer to it, like on the fly or quickly. But with average view duration, that's also how long people are watching your videos. So you want to look at that like it's watch time, because it is. Then you have average percentage viewed, or APV. Now, the difference there is your average view duration is how many total minutes you're getting for each viewer when they're coming through that video. Your average percentage viewed is how much of your video did they complete. Both of these things are taken into account when YouTube is determining if people are enjoying your content or not. And of course, the elephant in the room is the more people that enjoy your content, the better your videos are going to do on the platform. Next is your in-screen click-through rate. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about in-screens or in-screen elements. So on YouTube, when a video is playing, you're going to see boxes pop up at the very end of the video. So if you're not using these yet, these are called in-screens. This is a great way to increase watch time on your channel and increase session time on YouTube. So the idea when it comes to your end screens is you want to add videos to your end screens that will keep the viewer interested or keep the viewer watching. So at the end of this video, I'm going to recommend that you go and watch another video. And that recommendation is going to be based on this video targeting new YouTube content creators. So you'll see that here at the end of the video. But when it comes to your end screens, another important word is your in-screen click-through rate. And when it comes to your in-screen click-through rate, this is really important when it comes to YouTube, because if you can get people completing a video, that's a really high satisfaction signal to YouTube in terms of that tells the system, the algorithm of YouTube, that people are enjoying your content. And then if you have a high percentage of a click-through rate on your end screens, that also tells YouTube that people are enjoying your content so much that they're not just watching one video, but they're watching multiple videos, which is a huge satisfaction signal to YouTube. And you're increasing the session time that we talked about before, you're increasing the total watch time on your channel, all the things that YouTube loves. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are being mindful of your in-screen click-through rate as well. Next, we have the hook. You're going to hear a lot of YouTube help channels talking about the hook. You're going to hear a lot of people that are high-level YouTubers talking about the hook. What the hook is what happens when you start your video. So the hook essentially is where you entice a viewer at the start of your video to continue watching the video. Because as we all know, getting people to watch your videos over 30 seconds and just for as long as possible is really important. But if you don't have a good hook or something enticing at the beginning of your video to help inform them or show them or excite them or create some type of curiosity gap, then there's a really high likelihood the viewers are going to leave that particular video and it's going to underperform. The idea with the hook, though, is that you essentially want to use it to talk to your viewer as they're coming into the video to let them know, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what I'm going to be showing you. This is the game that we're going to be playing. This is the recipe that I'm going to be showing you. And then you also want to add another element to it that makes it about the viewer. So for example, if it was a cooking video, then you could say, I'm going to show you how to do this recipe in under this amount of time so you don't waste time cooking dinner all night. Right? So then what you're doing there is you're telling them what they're going to get, and then you're making it about them by telling them how they are going to benefit from watching your video. Next, we have the handoff. What the handoff is where you hand off that viewer from one video to another video. Now, the way that you do this is by using your end screens that I was talking about before. Now, when you are doing this properly, how you want to do a handoff is you want to essentially lead the viewer into the next video that they should be watching. So there's a few different ways that you can do this, or actually a lot of different ways that you can do this. But the idea is to just think about, okay, the person that watched this particular video, what do they care about in terms of how is this video relevant to them? And what other videos on my channel would also be extremely relevant to this viewer based on what it is that they came in and just watched. And then you want to recommend another video or hand off another video to that viewer so that you will increase your session time, plus so that it's easy for them to find the content that they want to watch on your channel. Now, once you're monetized, there's some additional things that you're going to need to know as well. So for example, CPM, RPM, that sort of thing. But right now, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're not monetized yet. So because of that, I have a video on my channel that's going to show you how to get views on YouTube officially, according to YouTube. And that's going to help you hurry up and get your first 1,000 subscribers and your 4,000 hours of watch time so you can get monetized. I'm going to put a link to that right here. You can go ahead and click on that now. What I just did is the handoff. But seriously, you should go ahead and click into that now because it's going to be super helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.